Bitcoin is going to drop to at least 65,000. Hi everyone, my name is Raji and I do technical analysis for fun. So everything that you hear on this video or in any other video, it's only for educational purposes. And please do your own due diligence. And this is not a financial advice. Once again, make sure that you do your own research and make your own decisions when it comes to trading and whenever you want to take action on the market. Having said that, I personally do not believe that Bitcoin is going to continue upwards. For now, I think we've entered into a bearish period, and I'll tell you why as we discuss the charts right here. However, I want to start by saying that when it actually reached 100,000, I discussed with some of my close friends, and I told them, listen, it's safe to now start thinking of actually taking out some of your holdings and basically taking some profits because typically, if you observe other assets, whether it's Bitcoin or any other assets, once you hit a whole number, um, the, people tend to actually take some profits, especially when you reach 100, and in this case, 100,000, just like 10,000. People like these numbers, and it's more psychological. So they decide to actually take some of these profits and then um, keep some if they wish. So in this case, a lot of people, if you've noticed, took some profits around 100,000. And yes, Bitcoin tried to push to 125,000. However, it did not go beyond that. So anybody who told you that it's going to go to 250 and what have you, sorry, they've been lying to you, because you should always look at the chart and see how it's moving. Um, and in this case, no matter what catalyst, to be honest with you, was going to be shared, it showed that it reached to a point where it was completely overbought and it needed to reset um, once again. So that's where we're at right now. And if you actually look, if we now switch and start looking at the chart, let's look at the hourly chart to start with. You'll notice that Bitcoin is currently at $83,846 as I record this video. And if you look at the 50 moving average line, which is the green line right here, it's 84,505. So it's below the 50 moving average line. Um, Moreover, you'll notice that the 5 moving average line is at 83,901. So it's currently below that. So it is bearish even on from that perspective. And if you look at the stochastic RSI, you'll notice that it's trying to push upwards beyond the signal right here, which is at 83.53. But it's not really strong. It looks quite weak. It's not going sharply upwards. And when you look at the MACD, you'll notice that there's decreasing in size rectangles, light green rectangles, which ultimately, if it continues in that pattern, this blue line will cross the orange line, and then we'll start having those red rectangles, which means a drop in the price even further. So it does not look amazing when it comes to the hourly chart. Now, the question that we need to think about is whether it will be able to overcome the green line right here, which is the 50 moving average, and push upwards. I personally don't think that that is possible, and I'll tell you why. If we move to the daily chart, you'll notice, let's analyze even further. You'll notice how bearish it is right here on the stochastic RSI. It's actually, the blue line right here is at 0, and the signal is at 10.72, 10.72%. So it still has room to catch up to the signal right here, and most likely this blue line right here is going to move horizontally at 0, which will signal further drop in the price. And if you look at the MACD, you'll notice that there's a lot of 3 red rectangles that have showed up, and they're increasing in size. and most likely they will continue to increase in size, um, and that would signal even further drop in the price. Um, Even from a TTM squeeze perspective, you'll see these increasing in size purple lines, which would indicate also bearish trend. Um, this bearishness further affirms that the 50 moving average line on the hourly chart is probably not going to be broken, and if it does, it will turn right back downwards. Now let's look at the weekly just to further confirm that we're going down. On the weekly, if you're familiar actually with charting and technical analysis pattern, you will notice right away there is a head and there's a shoulder. There's a shoulder and there's another shoulder right here. So in trading, there's a strong belief in symmetry. So we have a head right here, so there needs to be another shoulder right there as well, if not beyond. Um, Having said that, and we call this trend head and shoulders. So it's called head and shoulders, not head and shoulder, one shoulder. It needs to be symmetrical on both sides. So um, if we follow this trend, that means at the very least, $65,000 is going to be tested. If we look at this line right here, which is the 200 moving average line, you'll notice it's at 57,978, and that's why I say at least we will test 65,000. Another reason why we're going to test 65,000 is in retracement. Typically in technical analysis, we say there's A, B, C. A is the first downward movement. B is trying to recover, and then C, which is the third downward movement. And of course, there could be potentially E and F, and even more. But let's just stick with ABC right here, and it will get us easily to 65,000. But that does not rule out that if it breaks 65,000, which is quite a strong support, as you can see right here, it will test 57,978, which is the 200 moving average line. Now let's just go final one on the monthly, and you will see on the monthly again head. It's actually quite obvious, head and shoulders right here, which means that it will most likely drop even further. And here the 50 moving average line is 56,714. So once again, 65,000 is the first stop, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. And if you look at the stochastic RSI, it's quite bearish right here. It's already at zero, and the signal is 13 points before it. And of course, the MACD looks quite bearish as well. And we have a couple of red rectangles increasing in size that have showed up. So, ladies and gentlemen, I strongly believe that this is what's going to happen. Bitcoin will crash to 65,000. Even if it goes up a little bit or down, fluctuates in price, it will ultimately have to test that. That's all I have for today. If you have any questions about what I shared in this video, please feel free to comment. And if you want me to cover any other asset, I'm more than happy to actually take a look and analyze it as well. Have a great weekend, and I will speak to you soon. Take care.